Today on the Trent Out Loud podcast. Before we get into the nitty gritty of the Diddy trial and the first day of testimony, I just want to make something crystal clear. Sean Diddy Combs, you are nasty. When y'all find out what a male worker is accused of doing to Cassie, just nasty. I'm talking about ugly face, scrunched up nasty. I'm talking about like throw up nasty. Ugh. Diddy, you're going to jail for life. What up? It's Trent Out Loud, and I'm back with another episode. All right, depending what time zone you're in, it's Monday night or Tuesday morning. And to my Tuesday morningers, congratulations. We made it through Monday. I know Tuesday's not great either, but it's not a Monday, so I'm in a good mood. All right, you guys, I have a great show set up for you guys. I have 5 lead stories. We're going to kick it off by talking about the family, lawyers, and the medias that showed up to the first day of the Diddy trial. We have the jury selection and all the facts about each of the jurors. We have the prosecution's opening statement and the crazy allegations they made about what a worker did to Cassie. We have the defense opening statements and testimony from the prosecution's first 2 witnesses. In quick news, we're going to talk Donald Trump, Micheal Jordan, Marcus Jordan, Apple, Lil Wayne, Shannon Sharpe, and Halle Berry. As always, we're going to close out the show with comments of the day, social discussion of the day, question of the day, and a little bit of sports news. Y'all know what time it is. Turn your TVs, your radio, or your devices up. We're about to start this show. Let's go. All right, you guys, I have a breaking story for you. Of course, we're going to get to everything Diddy, but I wanted to let you guys know that the U.S. and China slash tariffs for 90 days in a trade deal. The U.S. and China have agreed to lower recent tariffs on each other's goods following trade talks in Switzerland. As reported by NPR, the U.S. tariffs and China goods will drop from 145% to 30% for 90 days, while China will reduce its tariffs on U.S. goods from 120% all the way down to 10%. A 10% U.S.-based tariff and a 20% additional on China's role in the DRUG production remains in place. This is a statement. They said, "We concluded that we have shared interests and we both have an interest in balancing out the trade battle." Very, 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 very good news. We haven't talked about Trump and trade in a long time because we're all preparing for the Diddy trial. But I wanted to let you guys know that the talks have started out very well. For those of you with 401ks or on a stock market, open your apps, check your balances. Everything is up. The market is up. Everything. I have gone on record to say, give Donald Trump 30, 60 days. I think last time I talked about this, I was like, Trump has like the end of June to maybe just quiet down some of the temperatures. We said that he was working on, I think, 35 trade deals. I said, let's give him a chance to at least get at least half of that out. We know that he had talks with Canada. We actually have 2 stories about him with Canada. All of that to say, I didn't think that we were going to get anything on China. I was just hoping that we would get some positive news out of these talks. I am shocked that we are getting something on China. Now, is it a trade deal? No, we just want to be very specific. We do not have a signed deal. We don't even have negotiations of a deal. However, at least they're bringing their tariffs down, US to 30, China to 10, while they negotiate over the next 90 days. That is a great positive sign, okay? We'll look more into it. If we get more, we'll come back and let you guys know. We're going to go on to Diddy right now, but check your 401ks, check the stock market if you're invested. Things are looking good. It looks like we're going to have a good summer, and we might be able to get $10 or $15. Donald Trump was saying 2 from 30. Maybe we might land somewhere in the middle and get $15 to $20 for Christmas time. All right. Anyways, let's just get on with the show. Very positive news for the world and the market, especially in the US. All right, you guys, we have a second breaking story. This rarely happens. We have reports that Tory Lanez has been poked up in prison and rushed to the hospital. A rep for the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation confirms to TMZ that Tory Lanez was poked up by another prisoner at the housing unit at the California Correctional Institution around 7:20 this morning. Prisoner staff dashed to the scene and began administering first aid to Tory after calling 911. Tory was then rushed to a hospital off prison grounds to receive more treatment. The CDRC spokesman did not disclose Tory's current conditions. Crazy, like I said, developing story. And by the way, this is not alleged, this is confirmed. I can say that none of his injuries are life-threatening from what I've heard from sources. He is, from what I know, in stable condition, but this is a developing story. We'll let you know if anything else pops up. We'll definitely have more in tomorrow's episode. But for now, Tory Lanez is no longer in jail. He is at a hospital off the prison grounds, and no sort of emergency surgery or anything. But Tory Lanez got poked up by another inmate. We don't know what it's over. We'll let you guys know if we have any more information. Regardless of what you think of Tory, you obviously don't want this to happen, or I assume you don't want this to happen. So prayers out to Tory. Hope everything works out to be fine with him, and we will let you guys know more tomorrow. Our first lead story, the Diddy Trial. Family arrives in force, comb kids at court with his mother and baby mamas. All right, we're going to take you through chronologically the court case today, or the court trial today. We're going to start off with the Combs family arriving, the lawyers, then we're going to get into jury, and then we'll talk about opening statements from prosecution, defense, and we're going to get to some witnesses. All right. So here is the family and lawyers arriving in the courtroom this morning. Take a look. Just want to stop it right there. As you know, every single thing that happens with Diddy and his family, everything is orchestrated, everything is planned, everything is communicated. Okay. Because the jury is watching them during the trial as much as they're watching him. Why they showed up all in black, I don't know. If you see, there's a couple of people there in like white and cream, but most of the people are in black. A couple of people in the comment section was like, it looks like they're showing up to a funeral. I don't like that just off of the bat. It just looks like just dark and morbid and just sad. I just don't like how that's starting off. Just my 2 cents, but I told you guys I'm going to try to highlight all like the small nuances. First strike of the day, I don't like other families showing up. Let's go on to see some of the lawyers. Take a look.
How are you feeling this morning, Mr. Garagos? Are you ready for today?
Everything you have to say as we head into a jury selection and then opening statements.
Have you spoken to Diddy? How's he doing? How's he feeling?
Anything to say before
let's see the fit. What are you wearing? You look fantastic. We love the suit.
All right, let's stop it right there. So that's Mark Garagos, Tenny Garagos, which is his daughter. And you guys have heard me talk about Mark Garagos. Has a podcast with TMZ, Harvey Leving. And really funny that he doesn't say a word, but on his podcast with Harvey, where he's making money, he says a lot. So much so that the judge was like, hey, you're not allowed to talk. He knows not to talk outside with these people, but he goes and talks on his podcast, which doesn't even really make sense. But we told you guys last week a theory of why he's talking on his podcast. So let's just not even get into that. Now let's go on to some other lawyers, notably Brian Steele, who was Young Thug's lawyer. And again, not talking to the press, but you can see Brian is trying to be just a little bit more polite about it. Take a look.
Today's day.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, guys. Guys, be careful.
Have you spoken
Do you have a
to
second for a question?
Have you to Sean Combs? Like, how's he doing? How's he feeling? Does he feel positive today? I know he was nervous this week.
His publicist said that he was upbeat this morning.
Can you confirm that?
I can't talk to the case at all, so I don't want to violate the court order.
Well, how was your weekend? What did you do over the weekend? Was it strictly planning, or did you relax, or did you have a drink?
Thinking about you guys.
Now, with Brian Steele was Nicole Westmoreland. I told you guys about her last week. Diddy's newest addition to his defense team. the black female lawyer that has gone through SA and R word, who I think is going to be the most important lawyer that's going to do cross-examination throughout this trial. But if you could see Brian, he was like, oh, be careful. Oh, sorry, I can't talk with you guys because of the judge's gag order. They say Brian Steele is one of the best cross-examiners in the country. For that reason right there, you saw it just naturally on display. He's really nice, he's really polite, and he's just like a warm person. And that's the kind of personality you need when cross-examining, and especially cross-examining women in a very, very delicate way. So that's a reason why Diddy brought him in. If you watched him during the Young Thug trial, the judge really liked him. He got along with people, and he's just built a reputation for being an amazing lawyer while also being very charismatic. And I don't think it's by accident that Nicole and Brian are walking in together. You see how Mark Garagos came in with Tenny, and then Brian with Nicole. All of these things matter. Just trust me, okay? Anyways, so that is it for the lawyers and the family. Let's move on now to jury selection, which is the key to this entire trial. Let's go. Our second lead story. Diddy Trial breakdown of the jury pool, details of the 12 jurors and 6 alternates. Okay, I have a full breakdown of the 12 primary jurors and the 6 alternates. I'm going to put their bio, let's call it, up on the screen. I'm only going to read their first lines just for time constraints, but while it's up here, you guys could pause it and read it on your own if you really want to know fully about them. But I wanted to give you guys a makeup of the jury, which is a little bit shocking to me. I'll get into it why, but I really wanted to break down. And we have said time and time again, and many experts have said this case will be won or lost based on the jury. So this gives you a really big insight. I wanted to share it with you guys. Okay. The federal criminal trial of Sean Diddy Combs got underway with opening statements Monday morning, shortly after the final jury pool was seated. And we've got the details about the 12 members and 6 alternates. The jury consists of 8 men and 4 women. That's the shocker to me. And the alternates are 4 men and 2 women. All are identified only by number and will remain anonymous. The jurors are not sequestered. They are allowed to go home every night with instructions to avoid news coverage of the trial and the internet, and not to discuss the case with anyone. Okay, 1 second here before we get in. I just want to highlight a couple of things here, okay? We'll start out from the top. 8 men and 4 women. Depending on how you look at it, it's maybe an advantage on each side, but I feel, this is just my opinion, I feel like that narrows a little bit on an advantage to Diddy. As you know, Diddy's a male, and if you have 8 male jurors, a man can see things from a man's perspective. So when the defense is up there talking about everything that's going on, which we'll get into, a man could better understand where a man is coming from. So I feel like it's a little bit of an advantage. Now, also why it could be a little bit of a disadvantage on the prosecution, and why it could also be an advantage on the prosecution side is, I have said time and time again that regardless if Diddy broke the law or not, which we're going to find out in the next 2 months, he's obviously a sick man. And as I am a man saying that, yo, bro, like, how are you into these things? Like, you're sick. So that's why I do also think that it's an advantage to the prosecution. I thought we would see something a little bit more evenly split because there's 2 sides, 2 ways of looking at it. And I actually thought there would be a little bit more of an advantage on the woman's side. I thought it would maybe be like, I don't know, like maybe 1 more extra woman or more just evenly divided. I feel like it's a little lopsided. And if you notice, it's even lopsided on the alternates too. The other thing that we have talked about again, but just want to go over that I think is crazy. Just listen to this, okay? The jurors are not sequestered. They're allowed to go home every night with instructions to avoid news coverage of the trial. How are you going to go home for 2 months and avoid news coverage of the trial? Okay, hold on. And the internet. It's 2025. Hey, can you go home every night at 3 p.m., Well, this first week, the court is going to end at 5 p.m., but for the rest of the trial, it's 3 p.m. Go home, avoid the news. Okay, avoid the internet and not to discuss the case with anybody else. Like, all right, so you're just going to go home with your significant other, your neighbors, do whatever, blah, blah, and you're just going to avoid the internet, avoid the news, and avoid talking to anybody. How do you feel like that's going to be able to happen in 2025? I totally just find it wrong. Anyways, let's get into the jurors. Okay, like I said, we're going to try to speed past this for time, but if you want to pause the screen and read it for yourself, okay? Juror number 2 is a 69-year-old single white man with no kids and a massage therapist from Manhattan. Juror 5 is a 31-year-old Manhattan white man who works in finance, just married in November. Juror 25 is a 51-year-old gay man who lives with his boyfriend. Juror 28 is a 30-year-old Bronx woman who lives with her mother. Juror 55 is a 42-year-old woman who works at a nursing home. Her husband also works in the same nursing home. Juror 58 is a 41-year-old Hispanic man who lives in the Bronx and works for the Department of Corrections as an accountant. Juror 75 is a 65-year-old Indian American retired businessman who worked at JP Morgan Chase. Juror 116 is a married 68-year-old white man, a retired telecommunications field technician. Juror 160 is a black woman who works at a New York hospital. Juror 184 is a 39-year-old black man who lives in the Bronx with his brother. Juror 201 is a single man who lives in Westchester working for a bank. Juror 17 is an older black woman with no children. Juror 230 is a 57-year-old white man who lives in Westchester and works as an architect. Juror 234 is a 34-year-old black Manhattan man who said he heard in the news that Diddy was an sex trafficker. I thought that was funny. Juror 247 is a 40-year-old white Manhattan man who works at a medical college. Juror number 292 is a 71-year-old white woman who works as an architect. Juror number 321 is a 24-year-old black Bronx woman who lives alone. And juror 330 is a 37-year-old white man who works at the United Nations. Okay, so that's everybody. 12 jurors, 6 alternates. Just remember, very, very key to remember, the prosecution needs a unanimous decision. All 12 have to come back guilty on all 5 counts. The only thing that the defense needs is one juror to come back and say, I don't think that he's guilty, and this ends in a hung jury, and it's a mistrial. They have to start all over again. And or they come back and they say not guilty and he completely gets off. But when the prosecution is picking, they have a whole team of people, psychologists, therapists, et cetera, that are going into the background of these people and doing their research and their due diligence and finding out how can we get 2 or 3, 4 people on the jury that is automatically going to be starting out on our side. You keep on hearing, oh, we want a jury that's not biased. That's impossible. With somebody like Diddy, it's impossible. So reading out those, the ages and a little bit of what they do kind of gives you a bit of a background, but we do not know who the defense is literally building their whole case on to just make sure that those 2 or 3 people, they're going to speak to them most to make sure that once they get back in deliberation that they're like, nah, he's not guilty. That's how defense works. The prosecution, they need to and work with all 12 of the jurors and make sure that they convince all 12 of them. So the advantage is always on the side of the defense, and the burden of proof is on the prosecution. As we go further in the trial, I'm sure experts will be able to hone in and will find out a little bit more about who on the defense team, which jurors on the defense team which jurors the defense team is really like preying on, hoping to get a not guilty verdict. I have one person already in the courtroom that's texting me something, so I'll maybe be able to tell you a little bit more tomorrow. But it's really just about the jurors. It's not about us. We're going to go into opening statements. We're going to go into the defense statements. But just remember, it's not about our opinions and what we know about the civil cases and how sick we think Diddy is or whatever. It's the 12 jurors and the evidence and what the prosecution can prove, and they have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. Okay? Just want to remind you guys that. All right, let's jump into the prosecutors' opening statements because it's pretty bad. Diddy is sick. Sorry, guys, I forgot to tell you one thing about jury selection that went down today that was super, super important. Could be grounds for a mistrial or an appeal. Totally forgot to tell you guys about it. So today, when the jury started in the morning, there was 43 jurors, and then the judge, the defense, and the prosecution needs to whittle it down to 18, right? 12 and 6 alternates. Now, the defense is allowed a certain amount of strikes without having an explanation, meaning I want to get this person off. You don't have to give a reason. And the prosecution is allowed a certain amount. They don't have to give a reason. With these strikes, not having to give a reason, there's still a little bit of asterisk beside you don't have to give a reason. If you see a pattern progressing, the other side could highlight that. For example, you cannot just say, I want to strike all women, or I want to take away all people that are wearing jeans. And it's like, hey, you're not being fair to people who are wearing jeans. So yes, you could strike jurors for whatever reason. However, it can't be prejudicial. Here is one thing that the defense highlighted, and it went on record. Listen to this. This morning, as the court proceedings began, the prosecution and the defense team began calling out their choices of individuals to strike, which is totally legal. Diddy's defense attorney, Mark Alofino, noted prosecutors struck 7 black people, noting a pattern. AUSA Maureen Comey pointed out that the prosecutor's reasoning, including individual issues with law enforcement, knowledge of case, limited English, even one accused of having an agenda. The judge denied the defense's challenge, determining the exclusions were not based on racial discrimination. It goes on to say, however, the judge did acknowledge the objection, and it is on record. Big mistake by the prosecution striking 7 black people, with the fact that you guys know, I know, and everybody knows that the defense said they're going to make this case about race. Because the prosecution has a mountain of evidence and we don't know what the defense is going to have or the evidence they're going to have, they have said, we're going to make this about race. They've already started with the fact that the prosecution is 6 white women. Mark Garrigo said a 6-pack of white women. The judge got mad at him for that. And the fact that this is what they're going to paint, the government going after a successful billionaire black man, why would the prosecution go and use most of their strikes against black people? I just thought that was a huge mistake on their part. And like I said, it won't affect this trial here, but it could be grounds for a mistrial, and we'll have to go through this all again, or it could be grounds for appeal if the race card works. And we all know that that's what they're going for. That's why Diddy has a black man, a black woman, a white man, and a white woman, and on his for his defense. So y'all take what you want from it, but it's on record. Prosecution striked 7 black people. I think it's a mistake. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Our third lead story. Feds claim in trial opening that Diddy made somebody do something in Cassie's mouth. All right. Let's just jump right into these opening statements. And we just started off with the biggest bombshell of this opening, but we'll get to it. Opening statements are underway in the Diddy SEX trafficking trial in New York City, and the feds are laying out their case against the Bad Boy Records founder, making some graphic allegations. Assistant United States Attorney Emily Johnson is running point for the prosecution right now, and she told the jury that Diddy made Cassie have sex with male escorts while he watched and recorded it. The Fed said Diddy called the party with male escorts freak-offs, wild king nights, or hotel nights. And they say his staff organized transportation and lodging and set up the rooms with lubricants and lighting and paying SEX workers with cash and providing DRUG. Prosecutors claim one of the freak-offs, Diddy made one of the workers do something in Cassie's mouth. Something that you do after you drink a lot of water, okay? They say Diddy was directing every step of the SEX party, and he expected the woman to appear like they were enjoying themselves. Take note of that part because we're going to talk about that in a second, okay? Feds say this all started when Cassie was 19 years old with a hit single, and they claim Diddy often put hands on her. Prosecutors say Diddy flew into a rage when he found out that she was seeing other men, and then they go into some other graphics details, which we don't need to get into, and blackmailing her by threatening to release videos of her having SEX with male escorts. The Feds also referenced the infamous Cassie video CNN tape and claims there were other instances. Prosecutors also brought up another alleged victim, a single mother who started spending time with Diddy in 2020. They say she started falling in love with him before being exposed to the parties. The Feds say the woman who was being referenced as Jane Doe thought her first freak-off was a one-time thing, but it wasn't. They say she wanted the workers to use protection, but Diddy wouldn't allow it, and she took DRUG to make it through the parties. The Fed says that she vomited during one of them, but Diddy made her keep going. Prosecutors say a former Diddy employee, his ex-personal assistant, Mia, will testify about how Diddy pushed himself up on her and did some things to her with his fingers. The Feds say Cassie will testify too, as will some escorts, including one who allegedly saw Diddy put hands on Cassie. The prosecution has made their opening statements, and now Diddy's defense will address the jury. Okay, we have some actual quotes from the opening statements that I want to read to you guys, or I'll attempt to read to you guys because some of it is kind of graphic. So the prosecution said, or Emily Johnson said, for 20 years, the defendant, with the help of his trusted inner circle, committed crime after crime. That's why we are here today. That's what this case is about, Attorney Johnson said, telling jurors that Cassie was far from the only woman Combs put hands on and SEX exploited. Prosecutors described the cover-up that followed Cassie's hotel hallway incident, telling jurors a security guard was given a brown paper bag full of $100,000 in cash while Combs' bodyguard and chief of staff stood by. This is far from the only time that the defendant's inner circle tried to close ranks and do damage control, Johnson said. The prosecution finished its opening statements by warning jurors they will see things that are hard to see, saying they will see Cassie and Jane Doe as they pretend to enjoy themselves during freak-offs, and will see Combs putting his hands on Cassie during a freak-off at an LA hotel. Okay, they just said it here again, so I do not have to go back. To me, the key in the entire opening statements is these 4 words: pretending they are enjoying themselves. Okay, maybe that might be 5 or 6 words, but that is going to be the crux of this entire case, ladies and gentlemen. Can the prosecution convince 12 jurors? We now know 8 men and 4 women and 6 alternates that these women, these 3 or 4 victims, they were not enjoying themselves. They didn't want to be there. They were coerced. They were pretending to enjoy themselves. And that is why Diddy is guilty of all of these crimes. That will be it. We're going to go over to the defense, but when the jury sees these tapes, these are SEX acts. You're going to see, or they will see, we won't be privy to this, but they will see them what appears to be enjoying themselves. I think the prosecution could probably get away with, look, it might look like they're enjoying themselves, but the fact that they are DRUG'd up and the fact that they're just trying to impress Diddy, that's why they look that way. Okay, they're amazing prosecution team, right? Southern District of New York, we've talked about them, that this is the elite of the elite that the government has to offer. I feel like there's a case to be made there. What I am going to be looking for, and like I keep on saying, it's to me, it's all about nuance in this case. If the defense can prove, or at least, sorry, I have to be very careful with my words. If the defense could put a doubt in any of the jurors' minds with evidence, and the evidence could be video or could be text message after the fact, in the morning or a couple of days after, saying, wow, I really enjoyed that night, or that was really fun, or yo, when's the next freak off? When's the next king night? Anything along those lines in an email or whatever that they could show, okay, hey, you want to say in the video they were pretending to enjoy themselves? You want to say, hey, the 1,000 bottles of baby oil that had the DRUG and they were all this or whatever? 1,000%. And like I said, Diddy's a sick man. If the defense can prove, and we don't know this yet because we haven't heard any evidence that the defense has, if they could prove in any way, if there's any text messages that they had any sort of enjoyment after, it negates this narrative that the prosecution is trying to show the jurors that they were just pretending to do this. And we're going to touch a little bit of that in the defense strategy. They have a mountain to climb because of how sick Diddy is, but we'll see. They're the best defense lawyers in the country, man. That's what's so interesting about this. You'll hear me talk about prosecution and it'll be like, it's over for Diddy. Then I'll tell you about the defense. You'll be like, wow, there's a chance. And just to remember, doubt is all that the defense has to prove. The prosecution, reasonable doubt. Anyways, let's go to the defense and hear their strategy. Our fourth lead story. Diddy's defense team says jury should not judge him on his sex preferences. All right, well, that's going to be hard. Like I keep saying, how could you not judge him when it's clearly that this man has a problem? Anyways, before we get into the defense, I just wanted to make sure that I say this, and I'm going to say this a lot just to protect myself. Whenever you hear me talking about this Diddy trial, and you're going to hear me talking about it a lot for the next month or so, I just want to tell you two things. A, I'm just giving you the information that is presented to all of us, and so I'm just giving you content. And I'm also going to give you perspective from a courtroom's perspective and from what the judge is going to be instructing the jury from my vast experience in courtrooms and with legal proceedings. We as people, as humans, we get very emotional, right? Diddy is sick. It's gross. How can we do this or whatever? A courtroom and the law is a lot more black and white. And we're not going to really hear this like in articles and et cetera, but the judge was always going to be reminding the jury to only judge the facts. Don't look on the news. Don't look at this. You're only allowed to judge the facts. You're not allowed to be biased. It's very, very black and white, and it's very calculated. So just remember that and take the fact that Diddy is disgusting out of the way, all right? That's what I'm going to try to do. So I just don't want you to think that that's my opinion. I'm really just looking at things from a court and a jury perspective, okay? Anyways, let's get into Diddy's defense. Diddy's defense say jurors are going to hear about swinger parties and all sorts of NSFW topics in his sex trafficking trial. But they say the jury is not there to judge Diddy for his preferences. Opening statements are underway and the defense is ripping into the prosecution. Diddy's defense attorney, Tenny Garagos, is handling the opening salvo for the music mogul side, and she says the case is all about love, jealousy, money, and Diddy's private sex life, scoffing at the idea that Diddy was engaged in sex trafficking and a racketeering conspiracy, as the feds claim. Garagos says the government has no business poking around Diddy's bedroom habits. And she says, yes, he did put hands on people and he did have a temper, but that's not what he's on trial for. Diddy's defense says there absolutely was domestic V-word with Cassie, putting hands on Cassie, but he's not charged for DV and says he will take accountability for some of his actions as the trial unfolds. The feds claim that Diddy pushed Cassie to have sex with male workers in Freakoff, but the defense says they were just swinger parties, with Garagos telling the jury they will hear about things that should never be heard in a federal courtroom, including sex acts that Diddy liked to watch. She says the jury may not like what they hear or what Diddy was into, but tells them you are not here to judge him for his sex preferences. Garagos said Diddy's alleged victims were adults in long-term relationships with him, and they have to take responsibility too. And she says they have free choices to stay with Diddy or leave, and were giving a lot of benefits out of their relationship. Garagos says Diddy bankrolled these women's homes and vacations, and they fought to be in a relationship with him. Diddy's defense said he had a toxic relationship with Cassie. They loved each other, but they also put hands on each other due to infidelity and jealousy. The Cassie video was also addressed. Garagos said that Diddy did the indefensible, but it's not evidence of sex trafficking. She says they were fighting over a phone and the secrets of infidelity. Pushing back on the aspects of the prosecution's opening statements, Garagos said Diddy proposed a consensual group activity with other alleged victims. The defense says that Cassie was a willing participant in a swinger lifestyle, and they expect her to testify that she enjoyed it. Garagos also took swipe at Diddy's ex-assistants, questioning why she is suddenly accusing him of sex assault, and characterized the alleged victim as vindictive and motivated by money, mentioning Cassie's $30 million civil lawsuit. That's the first time that we actually heard from a lawyer that that Cassie got $30 million. I just like to add. Bottom line for Diddy's defense, there's no racketeering conspiracy. He was paying different men for their time and experience, just like an adult actor, Hunkamania and Cowboy for Angels, paying money for their time and experience. So that's it. I think, to be honest with you, the advantage of the opening statements goes to the prosecution, hands down. That bombshell news about hearing what a male worker did, like relieving himself on Cassie, to me, that was explosive. It's everywhere. It's what's talked about. And like I've said last week, and I'll continue to say for this trial, as much as we want to say things are black and white, and as much as we want to say that you're not allowed to be biased, at the end of the day, it's not AI who's judging you. It is humans. And things like that will stick in the back of people's heads. However, again, it will be up to the defense to put in some sort of doubt that, hey, maybe it was Cassie's idea to do that. But I feel like the prosecution, the defense failed in putting that doubt in the opening statements. So, like I said, if I had to judge this off of opening day, I would say advantage prosecution, and the defense team really didn't do anything really other than what we've heard already. We all knew that that was going to be their defense. Hey, they enjoyed it, etc. Give us something a little bit more tantalizing. Advantage prosecution. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Don't go away. We still have more Diddy stuff. Our fifth lead story. Diddy complained about lack of baby oil. Male dancer testifies. All right, so we're going to put these two stories together. These are the first two people that testified. Everybody was thinking that it was going to be the victims or Cassie. I told you guys on Friday's episode, I'm like, if they start off day one with Cassie or one of the female victims, where else are they going to go? And I was like, I don't think that was a good move by the prosecution. It so happens that some of the people that were assuming were wrong, and it started out with one male dancer and a security guard that worked at the hospital, right? So we're going to let you guys know. The first one is not really anything great. Cassie paid a male dancer to have sex with her while Diddy watched, and Diddy told them they didn't have enough baby oil on their bodies and they needed to slow down and not go so fast, and et cetera, et cetera. Now, the takeaway from this is the dancer said that Cassie paid her, but of course prosecutions were, alluding to the fact that it's all Diddy's idea and he was the one that orchestrated everything, okay? And that he liked to watch, etc. This is the first time that we're hearing about baby oil, so I feel like this is the prosecution just kind of just laying the groundwork for when the police officers and there's more testifying about around $1,000 of baby oil. We'll get into that more later on, I'm sure, in the trial. What I really want to get to is, I think, one of the first big developments, I think, in the case. And I'm not too sure why the prosecution would do this, because there's already holes in it, but let me get to it. So the Diddy trial, he tried to bribe me over Cassie's video. This is the hotel guard, okay? The first witness called to the stand in the Diddy trafficking case on Monday was an assistant director of security at the Intercontinental Los Angeles Century City of Beverly Hills Hotel and was grilled about the infamous 2016 incident between Diddy and Cassie. The witness, Israel Flores, says he got a report of a woman in distress on the 6th floor around 11 a.m. and checked the cameras and saw Diddy pacing back and forth. Flores told the jury he rushed to the scene and encountered Diddy in a towel and Cassie on the floor. He said he told them if they were arguing, they needed to go back in their room, and he said he noticed a broken vase on the floor and told Diddy it would be charged to the room. Cassie stated she asked for her phone and her bag and wanted to leave, but Diddy told her she couldn't leave, Flores testified. Take a note to that. 1 second. Flores told the jury Diddy later called for him and was holding a stack of money, telling him not to tell anybody about what happened. He testified that he told Diddy he didn't want the money and the damage would still be charged to the room. The hotel security guard testified he went to Diddy's room to remind him of the hotel rules, and Diddy opened the door and grabbed his phone and asked if he was recording Diddy. Flores said he pinned Diddy to the wall. Found that a little bit odd, but okay. Flores said he took photos of the broken vase for an incident report and recorded 2 videos of the surveillance footage with his phone, explaining he wanted to show his wife at home. He said he had the following 2 days off, and when he returned to work, he looked for the surveillance video, but it was gone and never saw it again until recently. On cross-examination, Diddy's attorney, Brian Steele, asked Flores if law enforcement was called, and Flores says they were not. He asked why Flores didn't put that in his report and why he didn't include the part about Diddy allegedly telling Cassie she wasn't leaving. Flores says he didn't put every last detail in his report. Steele asked Flores, "You were offered a bribe, but hadn't you told him he had to pay for the vase?" Flores responded, "Yes." The prosecution circled back and asked Flores what Diddy said when he allegedly offered the money, and Flores testified that Diddy didn't want anybody to know about what happened. Flores also testified that the video shows Diddy dragging Cassie back to the room, and Steele asked if there are gaps in the footage because the cameras are motion sensitive. Flores says yes. His testimony is done, and now prosecutor's second witness is coming to the stand. So the prosecution then after called the dancer. Okay, I wanted to tell you guys in reverse because I wanted to talk more about the security guard. So I think the highlight in here is the fact that the security cameras, he said, were motion sensitive, meaning that the camera wasn't just straight on recording full time. So I think what the defense team is going to try to pull is to say, hey, we don't know what happened with these motion censored cameras. Could it be possible they could bring in a witness? Could it be possible that Cassie was doing something to Diddy and these motion sensor cameras didn't pick it up? How much of a motion do you have to do for the camera to pick up? I feel like that could be something that the defense picks up on. That's why Steele asked. The other thing in there is the fact that Flores is now saying in court, Diddy said that Cassie can't leave. Steele is saying, well, hold on a second. How come that wasn't in your report? Why are you only saying that now? Alluding to the fact that did the prosecution put you up to say that? Because they're trying to paint a picture of Diddy not allowing anybody to leave, right? That's coercion. So already now on day one, I feel like there's some gaps in the prosecution's first witness. Well, technically second. Was it? Yeah, that's their first witness. The dancer is, okay, it's whatever. The baby or the this or whatever. Okay, fine. But he said something. Their first witness said something in court today that wasn't in his initial report. The security guard took video on his camera, on his phone of surveillance footage. That's why there's a cell phone thing. You're not supposed to do that as a security guard. That is evidence from that is evidence, and that's property of the hotel. Why is he doing that? So already I just feel like not the best witness to start off day one. And it was what I predicted, that you don't put your best witnesses on the first day. You kind of putting it out there, solidifying the video. Somebody saw something in the room that he didn't want you to see. He tried to pay you off. 50-50, I would feel like this witness, and the dancer, not a big deal. We'll see when the victims come. We'll see when Cassie comes. I still feel like the day is won by the prosecution. However, I feel like there are two witnesses. Well, the security guard is a little shaky, and the male dancer is big deal. Give us something more tantalizing. I hope day 2 is a little bit better. We'll see. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. All right, this brings us to quick Diddy news. Ring my bell. Our first quick Diddy story. My trial is going to be biblical. All right, this headline is just making a little bit of a joke. But remember, like I said, we want to bring you little nuances. What is Diddy up to? I wanted to let you guys know. Diddy looks like he's leaning on his faith as he goes on federal trial for sex trafficking because he was reading from the Holy Bible in court. The Bad Boy Records founder had a Bible at his table Monday and was reading scripture before opening statements from the prosecution and his defense team, according to the folks in the courtroom. One of Diddy's attorneys, Tenny Garagos, held opening statements, and a couple of jurors appeared to nod off, resting their heads on their hands. Garagos was speaking right before lunch, and it seemed like jurors were getting tired and hungry. Like I said, just wanted to give you guys a little bit of insight of what's going on in the courtroom. That doesn't look good for either side, that the jury seems to be uninterested already in the first half in the morning. Hands on their heads, nodding off. Like I told you, the defense opening statements was super boring, so I'd be nodding off too. Really not a good look. And we have all seen Diddy in music videos, interviews. We all have seen him out here at various things. Have you ever seen Diddy with a Bible in his hand? Have you ever seen Diddy reading scripture? Because I haven't. This is all a setup to make Diddy look like this innocent person. Hey, this is what they pay these people to do, right? This image that they're trying to portray. The thing is that all these people have seen Diddy and know him before, all right? We've seen you in the videos, bro. You know what I mean? So anyways, that is just a vision of what the courtroom looks like. Let me know what you guys think about Diddy reading scripture in the comment section below. All right, this brings us to regular quick news. Ring my bell. Our first quick story. Trump speaks on relationship with Canadian Premier Mark Carney. Trump speaks on relationship with Mark Carney and says the relationship is going to be very strong. What? Trump being nice to somebody else in the political field that's not MAGA? What's going on? From another country? Yo, take a listen.
Is there any reason you haven't referred to Mark Carney as governor as you did with Trudeau?
As far as calling him Governor Carney, no, I haven't done that yet, and maybe I won't. I did have a lot of fun with Trudeau, but I think this is a big step up. It's a good step up for Canada. I watched very closely. I thought he did really terrifically in the debates. I like him.
I like him? I thought he did terrific in the debates? What's going on, Donnie? This is very, very good news, man, for Canada, for the U.S., and for everybody. This is very, very positive. The trade deals with China, he likes Canada. And the thing that I thought was the best in there, where he said, no, I haven't called him Governor Mark, and I don't think I will. Or he said, maybe I won't, which he never even considered with Trudeau. So very, very positive. Continuing on with the positivity, Trump says he'll be announcing an earth-shattering development with Canada in the next few days. Take a listen to this.
You know, I said before in our meeting with the new and very talented Prime Minister of Canada that we have some very big announcement to make. It's not about trade. It's about something else, but it's going to be a truly earth-shattering and positive development for this country and for the people of this country. And that'll take place sometime within the next few days.
Now, y'all know I would normally have dug into this and find out what this big announcement is, but it was the Diddy trial and that was taking up all my bandwidth. So I don't know exactly what's going on, but we'll figure it out and we'll let you know tomorrow or the next day. But good news, very positive. Like I said, check your 401ks, check your markets, check in with your bankers, check in on your money. Things are looking up. The weather is getting better. Hey, things are good. Except if you're Diddy. Our second quick story. Micheal Jordan will serve as a special contributor to NBC and their 2025-26 NBA coverage. What? Breaking news, NBC Sports has named Micheal Jordan as a special contributor for its upcoming NBC coverage on NBC and Peacock. MJ will be giving his thoughts on the modern NBA. Do you guys have any idea how huge this is in the sports world? I know I should have put this in sports news, but this is big. This is the GOAT. This is MJ. MJ doesn't do interviews. He doesn't talk to people. He was retired. He was just, I'm just going to be off doing my own thing. Last we heard of him was in 2020 where that Netflix series, The Last Dance. And we don't hear of Micheal Jordan. I have two theories on this, and the conversation of LeBron James and Micheal Jordan has always, people have said that bugs Jordan in the background. Like, he doesn't like the conversation of because he doesn't necessarily respect LeBron and he doesn't feel like he should be up in the conversation. He doesn't mind if you compare Kobe to him, but he doesn't like LeBron. That was allegedly the reason for The Last Dance, is people were starting to be like, hey, who's the GOAT? Who's this or whatever? And they had that documentary recorded and like ready to release back in like 2000. And it was literally like 20 years old. And that's what Jordan all of a sudden just was like, all right, you guys can release it. You could use it. So I'm thinking that more and more and more, you start hearing this newer generation not only talk about LeBron as being the GOAT, but you're starting to hear people say like Steph Curry may be the GOAT, maybe this person, that person. DDG was just on the Breakfast Club last week and they asked him his top 5 and Jordan wasn't even his top 5, which is crazy. And DDG is only 27. Imagine the kid who's coming up who's 17, 18, or 19. They don't even know of Jordan. For them, Jordan is just, a basketball player and they rock their shoes. And Jordans are not even as hype as they were 5 years ago. So I think, an elongated way of saying, I think Jordan is coming back to remind us and remind the newer and the younger generation who the GOAT really is. It's shocking to me. Tom Brady is a different kind of GOAT where I wasn't so shocked with him on Fox. I personally don't love seeing Tom Brady on Fox, to be honest with you. Like, you're the GOAT, right? Well, he's not even my GOAT, but definitely the greatest quarterback, right? Until somebody comes up and takes his place, because I'm not a big Tom Brady fan, and I'm sorry I'm making this so long, but I didn't really like seeing that. So I don't know how I feel about Jordan coming back. That was my second thing. I don't know if I want to see Jordan commenting on the NBA. An interview once in a while, sure, but like, I hope we don't see him like daily, like Stephen A. Smith commenting. That's not what you want to see from the GOAT. You know what I mean? My last thing is maybe Jordan's just bored. You know what I mean? It's very lonely at the top. To stay away, isolate yourself, not going anywhere, and just you come out as this like larger than life person, I think maybe gets kind of boring. So he might just be sitting down being like, I have nothing to do. And he probably just wants to get back into the thick of things. Anyways, that's my theory. Let me know if you guys are excited of seeing Jordan, the GOAT, coming back to your TV screens. Let me know in the comment section below. Our third quick story, talking about Micheal Jordan. Larsa Pippen talks dating Marcus Jordan and weighs in on him allegedly dating Nicole Murphy, who allegedly dated his dad, Micheal Jordan. What a tangle web we weave. All right, just to reiterate, Micheal Jordan, his son, Marcus Jordan, is allegedly dating Nicole Murphy, who allegedly was dating Micheal Jordan. You see the circle there? And let me just add a little bit more nuance to this. And Nicole Murphy was allegedly not only just dating Micheal Jordan, but she was the reason why Micheal Jordan got a divorce, because Micheal Jordan's wife found out that he was cheating on her with Nicole Murphy. And that's the woman who his son now is dating? What is going on in this family, and what is going on with Marcus Jordan? He's dating Pippin's ex-wife and his dad's ex-girl, and the girl who broke up your parents' marriage? What's wrong with this guy, man? Anyways, here is a little interview from Larsa Pippen. Take a listen.
Your ex, Marcus Jordan, is allegedly dating Nicole Murphy,
I have no idea.
who Micheal Jordan allegedly cheated on his wife with. Ain't that messy? But I wonder
don't know. I don't keep up with my exes. I feel like when you jump off the vessel, it's just good luck. I hope you can swim.
Okay, whatever. You don't keep up. You know everything that's going on. I also forgot to add, for those of you who don't know who Nicole Murphy is, and that name sounds familiar, yes, Eddie Murphy's wife, or ex-wife. Eddie Murphy's ex-wife is now dating Marcus Jordan. Look, a lot of celebrities will tell you in Hollywood that it's a really small circle. That's why they date each other. Khloe Kardashian says that, and even Tiger Woods, hey, why are you dating Trumps, whatever. That elite circle is very, very small. But I think there's a little bit more people in Hollywood and the entertainment industry than to be dating your daddy's ex-side chick. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. Our fourth quick story. Apple might owe you up to $100. You have fewer than 2 months to file a claim in Apple's $95 million settlement in a class action lawsuit that accused Apple Siri of spying on you. Apple agreed to resolve its 5-year-old lawsuit involving allegations that it activated Siri to record conversations through iPhones and other devices equipped with virtual assistant for more than a decade. People who owned or purchased a Siri-enabled device, specifically an iPhone and iPad, Apple Watch, MacBook, iMac, HomePod, iPod Touch, or Apple TV that experience unintended Siri activation during a confidential or private conversation between September the 17th, 2014 and December the 31st, 2024, you may be eligible. The settlement is slated to allocate the $95 million into amounts up to $20 per Siri device. The amount will increase or decrease depending on the number of valid settlement claims and the number of Siri devices claimed. The deadline to file the claim is July the 2nd. If you wish to file a claim, visit the Lopez versus Apple Incorporated website. You may also opt out or object to the settlement. Hey man, you got some Siri devices in your home? I want to let you guys know, log on to this and you can get some cash. Let me know if it works out for you. Our fifth quick story. Woman claims Lil Wayne ended their relationship on Mother's Day and alleged that he may have put hands on her. This might be another pending lawsuit, y'all. Who knows? Shannon Sharpe, Diddy, who else? It's getting crazy out here. Model Denise took to Instagram to accuse rapper Lil Wayne of ending the relationship on Mother's Day and forcing her and her daughter to leave. She also alleged that Lil Wayne had been emotionally stressing to her and also may have put hands on her. According to People magazine, the two have reportedly been in an on-again, off-again relationship since the summer of 2020. From what I know, they're supposed to be engaged. I don't know about no on and off relationship, but they definitely were living together. Here is a video. Take a listen.
Okay, so for everyone DMing me about my story I posted, yeah, this is actually a fact. Wayne literally kicked me and my daughter out on Mother's Day today, and I am just recovering from surgery. I am 5 weeks out from a full mommy makeover. I can't even lift boxes, but this man has his assistants and people coming to help kick us out today.
All I'm saying is, why not do it on the Saturday or the Monday? Why do it on the Sunday? I don't understand. I don't know enough because there's no details that have come out, so we have to stay, in the middle here. But why don't you just wait till Monday, Wayne? I don't get it. Mother's Day. Jeez. Our sixth quick story. Shannon Sharpe says 50% of people are glad he has problems as he battles lawsuits with ex-girlfriends. Shannon Sharpe is such a fool for doing this and commenting. I have a video. Bro, nobody's talking about you. Everybody's talking about Diddy right now. Why would you go and open your mouth to remind people about the things you're going through? This is just, oh my gosh, I can't believe he did this. Anyways, Shannon Sharpe is reflecting on some harsh realities he is facing with his SA allegations. On a recent episode of Nightcap podcast, the former NFL star shared a moment of vulnerability, saying, "In the process of proving you're right, you'll prove them wrong. Stop worrying about what people don't know you think. I just need the people that I love to love me." Shannon is currently the subject of 2 lawsuits. Most recently, he was hit with a $50 million lawsuit from a woman claiming that he R-worded her twice in their relationship. You see how the article ends? Why are you reminding people about this? Anyways, listen to the video. This guy's a clown.
Your job is not to prove somebody wrong. It's your job to prove yourself right. And if you prove yourself right, in the process of proving you right, you'll prove them wrong. But when you think about it, Ocho, man, 50% of the people don't care that you got problems. The other 50% glad you got them.
Did you guys notice at the top right-hand corner, there's one little logo there with a hair and glasses? That's Shannon Sharpe's logo. You notice something? There's no other logos there. There used to be a DraftKings logo. There used to be other logos. Shannon Sharpe has no sponsorship. Thank you so much for reminding us that we shouldn't be supporting you because you freaky and you're doing wild things at your crazy age of 57 years old. Because we forgot about that. But thanks for reminding us that you're Diddy Part 2. Our 7th quick story. Halle Berry's Mother's Day isn't over just yet. All right, Halle Berry made Mother's Day take a little bit of a twist from what we're used to seeing or what we saw yesterday, and she's going viral for it. She is selling a product. A lot of people don't even realize that. She came out a couple of months ago with this new product for, let's just say, older women. And she is promoting her product, but did well because she's her own influencer. Anyways, take a listen to hear how Halle Berry. I keep confusing her now with Halle Bailey and Halle Berry. Anyways, take a listen to how her Mother's Day ended. Take a listen.
So, showed y'all how my day started, how my Mother's Day started. And now, I'm going to tell you about, I'm not going to show you, I'm going to tell you about how my Mother's Day is going to end. Ain't that right, man?
Yes. I wish you hurry up, too.
First of all, we got our Let's Spin, because Let's Spin just came out in this cute little travel size. And so since we're in Cannes, France, I traveled with it for the first time. And we're about to give it a spin.
You about to Cannes with Van.
Happy Mother's Day once again, everybody. I hope all of you are somewhere spinning.
Oh my God, I ain't never been so happy to have Mother's Day come to me.
It sounds like she maybe had a couple of glasses of vino, you know what I mean? Anyways, shout out to Halle Berry. Halle Berry. Shout out to Halle Berry. All right, y'all. This brings me to my favorite segment, comments of the day. All right, before we get into comments, you know I have a very serious question for you guys. Is your computer, laptop, or cell phone vulnerable to data breaches? Well, let me answer that question for you. Yes, they are if you are not using Aura, the all-in-one digital security platform. Go to my sponsor, aura.com/Trent Out Loud to get a 14-day free trial to see if any of your data has been exposed. If you're ever wondering how scammers get your phone number or your inbox is flooded with spam, here is why. There are companies called data brokers that sell your data. They do it without your consent, and they make billions of dollars selling it to marketers, scammers, and even stalkers. This is why I recommend today's sponsor to my family, friends, and out louders. Aura takes care of the hard part, automatically removing your info off of sites and keeping it off. Aura is an all-in-one digital security platform. You may already have digital security tools, but not having Aura is like locking your front door, but leaving your back door open. With Aura, you get alerts if your personal info is found on the dark web, real-time fraud alerts for credit and banking, a secure VPN, antivirus, password manager, and they have US-based support available around the clock if something goes wrong. And if something does go wrong, Aura also includes a $5 million identity theft insurance protection. You can use Aura now free for 14 days with the link below or the QR code that I'll put up on the screen right now. All right. I joke around when I'm reading that script, but I've told you guys all last week, that I am a firm believer in Aura. They are amazing. I've given it to my niece, my nephew, my sister, my mom, my dad, everybody in my family. I discovered Aura when I had a breach on my computer, and they're amazing. Their service is amazing. And I wanted to work out and get you guys a 14-day free trial. The best thing and the best part of this 14-day trial is the fact that they do the work for you for free to find out if you had any breaches or any leaks within your credit, security card, your social security card, anything like that. They do that all for free in the 14-day trial, which is really, really cool of them. And then you could decide from there if you want to continue. And I suggest you continue, because you do not want to be surfing or be on the web without protection. And like, that line is so amazing when they say, you might have other security tools, but that's like having your front door locked and your back door open. They are the leader. They are the leader in online security. Okay. For those who haven't heard of Aura, they were the jersey badge for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Here's a picture of Ant Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns. For those of you who don't know, they are the leader, number one in cybersecurity. Do not go online without having Aura as your protection. All right. Aura is our sponsor of the comment section. So let's get on to comments of the day. All right. The first comment is from Linda. We have a lot of Lindas watching, eh? Linda says, hi, Trent. I love your podcast. I have a question. Why isn't the trial televised like the OJ trial if the jurors are not sequestered? By the way, this is not like OG Linda. This is another Linda. Okay. Not Trump. We'll call her Trump Linda. What's up, Linda? Anyways, so this is Linda Green. So Linda, just want to let you know or answer your question. The reason why the trial is not televised is that this is a federal trial. Anytime you see a trial with a camera and you could watch the trial, that is a state case. No federal court in anywhere in the USA are you allowed cell phones, cameras, anything. That's why when you see the Diddy trial, all you'll see is drawings, right? You have, I forgot what they call them. Anyways, they're called, and they just draw. So you'll never see a picture or hear anything. That's why it sucks a little bit, but you have to depend on people like us or news or whatever articles to find out what's going on. And the jurors not being sequestered, I can't answer that, man. I from what I've heard, it's just 2025. They feel like people have things to do. People are a little bit more independent, and it's summertime. And I just feel like they would have a better jury pool if they didn't keep them, in hotels for 2 months and away from their family and away from their work and all of that stuff, which I get makes sense. But I still feel like it's a mistake. And I still feel like it's almost impossible in this day and age not to go on the internet and not hear what's going on. So anyways, that's just my 2 cents, but hope that answers your question. The next one is from Carrie. Hi, I watch your show till the end. Can you give Scotland a shout out, please? My family has started watching you as they see me watching you. You are great at what you do. Thanks. And so I wrote back, I'm like, got you. Thanks for the support. All right. So Carrie, here is your shout out. Shout out to Scotland. Like I always tell you guys all the time, we are a global podcast. If you see, that's why I'm like, depending on what time zone you're watching this, because we are global, right? So shout out to Scotland. Appreciate y'all. I've never been there. I actually want to go there one day. I'll holler at you, all right? Next one is from Antonia. Hi, my name is Antonia, born in Caracas, living in Trinidad. From ages 6, now 52 years old. I watch your show for the longest time, but I did not have my hands set to reach out to you. Now I have a second. I got a phone. I love your podcast. Hi, Linda. Hi, Mom. Your son is the best, by the way. Your take on relationships is my belief as well. Boy, oh boy, I'm here. Let's go. I really love that, man. Thank you, Antonia, and shout out to Caracas and, of course, Trinidad and Tobago. I know you're in Trinidad, but shout out to Trinidad and Tobago and all the West Indian Islands. All right, thank you for that comment. Next one is my homie Dave. What up, Dave? Great show, dude. Again, if I had to build my own woman, I just ask for a copy of Shakira. I'll make the rest work. Dave from England. That's funny because that's what I said most guys do. They just go on the physical, just, hey, just give me a beautiful woman. I'll just make the rest work. But I feel like Dave is just making a joke of it. So I feel like if he's a Trent Out Loud podcast listener, he has more depth than that. So shout out to Dave. The next one is coming from Raphael, I think. Sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Trent, another great one, man. Anthony Edwards needs to realize that child support is just not for mommy. It's all the bills that cover the beautiful miracle that never asked to be born. Let's go Dubs. One more for my favorite player, Draymond Green, even though the angry black man card was a little over the top. All right, couple of things that you said in there. One, for sure, go Dubs. Go Steph Curry. I hope you get back better soon. And yeah, 100%. Anthony Edwards does need to realize that the money doesn't just go to the mom. But I think more importantly than the money and the bills and all of that stuff, my problem with Ant Edwards is that he needs to understand that, like you said, they didn't ask to be born in this world, and your child is here. Have a relationship. See your own child. That's what it is to me, beyond the money. But anyways, totally agree with you. Thanks for your comment. And also, Ebony Davis says, I'll Be Sure is a victim. Almost was unalived writing his book. Now he's finished with the book and he can speak freely. I don't understand what you're saying about him. He literally almost was unalived to tell his story, and now no one is holding him back. Okay, I put that in here and put it last because I just want to give you guys a little bit more context to what I was saying yesterday about I'll Be Sure. And I did say, you can go back and check, I did say the fact that, hey, he has a right to tell his own story. But if you guys watch my show daily and know me well, you know I'm all about receipts, okay? People could say a lot of things. You need receipts. I just want to highlight I'll Be Sure. And again, he has a right to tell his own story, 1,000%. And if you think he's a victim, fine. I'll Be Sure's own son is saying that he's lying. Who's Quincy? He's saying that's not true. Everything that my father is saying is not true. There's been a lot of people that have said the things that he said is not true. And look, I haven't read I'll Be Sure's book. A lot of things that I feel personally, my opinion, that I'll Be Sure says is very how do I put this without seeing it's just very broad and very circumstantial. You know what I'm saying? I think of I'll Be Sure the same way how I think about Rick Ross in the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef. And you guys know when you hear me talking about that, I'm like, why did he just interject himself? And I just feel like I'll Be Sure kind of just put himself in the Diddy and Kim Porter thing where there's receipts with that, and that those accusations and those allegations kind of make sense. Yes, we know that Diddy and I'll Be Sure do have something, and I'll Be Sure has the issue with Diddy because apparently Diddy stole Kim from I'll Be Sure because Kim was with I'll Be Sure first. And Diddy and I'll Be Sure were friends. Met Kim in the studio and allegedly stole Kim from I'll Be Sure. So if you just look at the nuance, it's like, this is the guy who stole my girl, had a bunch of kids with her. My son doesn't talk to me, and my son looks at Diddy as a dad, which that alone is weird. All I'm just saying is that I just feel like I'll Be Sure's story doesn't seem like, hey, I'm here for the victims, I'm here for Kim. It seems like he's like, hey, there's things going on and people talking. Let me just interject myself into this story. That's just my take. Regardless, if you think he's a victim, that's fine. I'm not saying he's not. And like I said yesterday, he does have a right to tell his own story. I just want to see a little bit more receipts. I want to see some text messages. I just want to see a little bit more. I'll get his book. I'll look into it when it comes out. I don't know if it has released or not, but from what I've seen, it just seems like he's kind of like piggybacking. And then my last thing that I was saying is the fact that he's selling his book is like, Diddy didn't want to pay you any money because you didn't have enough proof, and that's why you're just out here. There's no lawsuits, there's no nothing. Notice there's nothing criminal, there's no lawsuits, there's no civil suits, there's no nothing. And he's just like, hey guys, I'm just gonna put out a book as a way to kind of like piggyback. Like, if that was my ex-girlfriend, my son's mother, I personally, and he's on trial, I wouldn't be out here trying to sell my book. I would be out here making sure that he's in jail for the rest of his life for what he did to my son's mother. That's what I would do. And I would personally, if I am going to put out a book, I would put out a book and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to give all the proceeds to my children, because Kim is his son's mother. Do you understand why I question I'll Be Sure's motives? You think about that for a second. All the things that he's saying that is done to his son's mother, which his own son is saying it's not true, and his own son says, I don't talk to my father, I don't believe what my father is saying. Where is the money going? In his pocket for his son's mother? Give the money to your son. Or fight for your son's mother's accuser for him to go to jail. Not write a book. That's just my feelings on I'll Be Sure. And like I said, I wanted to save it for last because I know I'm making more of an issue about this and it's not really comments of the day, but I saw a couple of people dragging me a little bit of my comments about I'll Be Sure. So I wanted to give you guys a little bit more context on why I'm on the fence with I'll Be Sure. But he has 100% right to tell his story. I just want to see some proof while you're telling your story, because Cassie has a lot of proof, and that's why she's on trial. And that's why the feds are bringing her case into a criminal case, because she has facts and has receipts. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I forgot this comment of the day. Anyways, thank you guys for all the comments. Thank you to Aura for signing up, for giving you guys a 14-day free trial. Make sure you sign up on the link below. And here is a QR code one last time. Take out your phone, open up your cameras, point it at the screen, go to my link. Free. You'll be able to find out if any of your information has been leaked over the past years for free. Shout out to Aura for taking care of the Out Louders. All right, this brings us to social discussion of the day. Halle Bailey, not Halle Berry, Halle Bailey gets transparent about her weight after giving birth. All right. Yes, transparency. Halle Bailey got real about her body following the birth of Halo. Here is a video. She's on vacation with Chloe. Shout out to Chloe Bailey. You know, I love her. Take a look at this video. Actually, here's some pictures first. Here's some pictures of her on vacation. Here's another picture. Here's a video of her talking about her feeling a little bit insecure, and then I'll let you know what the social discussion is of the day. Take a listen.
Right now, currently, I am a little bit thicker than I usually am, and I don't really know. I feel really insecure about it a little bit, because all my life I've been like 120 pounds, really skinny, and then I had my baby, and then when I was breastfeeding I lost a bunch of weight. So I felt like my body sort of snapped back to where I thought it did at the time, but it still was very off. And then now that I'm 25, I just feel myself like, oh, weight is sticking more. Like, okay.
All right, here is the social discussion of the day. Has society forgot about the beauty of pregnant women? Our quote-unquote beauty standards that we see on Instagram or on the runway or on the cover of magazines are of a quote-unquote certain type of woman. I have, for one, think that pregnant women, or even after pregnancy, women have this glow that is beautiful about them. And now, no, I don't have children, as most of you know, but any new subscribers, I do not have kids. But I have always said that women, to me, look their most beautiful in motherhood, pregnant, etc. But you hear more and more women these days saying, yo, I just had a baby. I need to snap back. I need to get snatched. I need to do this. I was actually just speaking to somebody on the weekend, and they were 30. Yeah, I think they're 30. And she was like, I think now at this age, I'm only able to have 2 or 3 kids max, and I really want to have 4 or 5. And I was like, why can't you have 4 or 5? She's like, well, because at my age, by the 3rd kid, I'll be in my late 30s and I won't be able to snap back as quickly. And I'm just like, I felt bad as a man and just as society for her thinking, before she even has 1 kid, she's thinking about the snapback. And it's like, while I can understand, I feel like we as a society should do something or be better at making women feel more comfortable with pregnancy and after pregnancy. Like, that's not what women should be thinking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, there should be so many other things on your mind. Now, that's why it's in social discussion. As you guys know, it's whenever I don't have an answer, we bring the discussion. What can we do as a society to empower women who are pregnant or after pregnancy, postpartum? And that's also a big part of postpartum, right? So I don't have the answers. What do you guys think? A couple of questions here. Is it societal? Is it a society problem? Is it us just as humans? Is it the internet? Like, what is it? And when we figure that out, what could we do better to make moms feel better? If anything I could do, my one little podcast, any women out there who are pregnant or you have just given birth or you're a mom, ironic that it was just Mother's Day, but just know that you're the reason why we're all here. And that is beautiful. Like, you look beautiful. And it's like, I don't know if that helps or anything. I'm just one person with a podcast, but just know that that is beautiful. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. All right, so this brings us to question of the day. All right, I think this is a really good one. Are you a caller, a texter, or a FaceTimer? All right, the first person said in person. Next person says depends on who it is. Texter, don't call or FaceTime me unannounced. Call for emergency purposes only. Text me anytime. Texter, please. I'm here to see what y'all have to say. FaceTime me, shouty. Another person said, me ignoring. Huh? So they said, I'm an ignorer. I don't know what that means. Another person says, it's levels. If we start talking, then texting. Then when we're at the VIP level, then you could FaceTime me. It's funny. Another person said text. Somebody said, I'm none. Don't bother me. It's funny. None of the above. I'm an Apple Pay acceptor. Another person said FaceTime. I got to see what's going on. I prefer texting, but my friends got to call me anyways. But my friend's gonna call me anyways. Somebody else said, nah, catch me in person. Another person said, I'm a pull up. None of the above. Don't contact me. Leave me alone. Depends on who it is, but don't call me. Another person said, none. Leave me alone. Okay, no, I can't say this. Somebody said, send me money. What's wrong with y'all? In person, none of the above. There's a lot of, I don't want to talk to you. I feel like a lot of people are starting to really like isolate themselves, to be honest. Somebody said they're the text king. All three. Text me. Anything else will be ignored. Call me, please. Yo, okay. I want to throw my 2 cents in here because a lot of people think I'm extra. I feel like it's rude to just pick up the phone and call somebody. I feel like calling somebody is like ringing somebody's doorbell and just showing up at their house. How can you just call me like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, you just call me. Like, I am a texter. And I'm definitely not a FaceTimer. How are you just going to FaceTime somebody like that? Now, listen, if it's your sister, your mother, your best friend, your girl, your husband, okay, we're not talking about that. We're talking about general. How are you just going to FaceTime somebody just out of the blue? Like, yo, I'm recording right now. Like, that's the beauty of text. So, by the way, yes, I'm a texter. And I just feel like because I'm always multitasking and I'm always doing a lot of things, texting is the best for me because I can have a conversation with you while I'm doing a multitude of things. If we have to talk on the phone, yo, I got to stop. And y'all know I like to talk a lot. So if I get on the phone with you, I'm done. My half an hour of my day is already done. Maybe an hour, depending on who it is. So I can't do that if I'm recording or I'm doing a show or I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, my 2 cents is text somebody. Hey, are you busy later on? What are you doing? When you finish working? Cool. Can I call you at 10 o'clock? Fine. But I feel like most of the things you can get through over text right now. But people get mad at me. I'm telling you. My cousin just the other day was like, I don't talk with my fingers call me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just want to get the point across. I don't want to like, hey, what's up? Hey, how are you? Fine. How are you? Cool. Yeah. What have you been up to this weekend? Oh my gosh, I was just chilling. I was so busy, blah, blah. So we have to do like a catch up for 10 minutes. And then it's like, oh yeah, I was calling you because I wanted to know whatever, like you blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's like so much text. You're just, yo, do you want to go here? Do you want to do this? Boom. You know, and then you just leave all the foolishness till I'm done. And then I'll text you back in like 4 hours if I have to. Anyways, don't call me, yo. And do not FaceTime me. You get blocked. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. All right, this brings us to sports news. All right, depending on when you're watching this, Sunday night's games, the OKC and Denver series is now tied 2-2. I predicted that. Go OKC. We need to get Denver out of here. Also, shocking, I was wrong with this one. The Pacers beat Cleveland, and Pacers are leading the series 3-1? That's a shocker. I literally thought Cleveland just needed some time to warm up, but it seems like and Pacers do have a good team, so shout out to the Pacers. I do think it's going to at least go to game 6 or maybe even to game 7. I don't see Cleveland just going out 4-1, but who knows, because Pacers are doing good. Tonight's games, again, like I said, depending when you're watching this, Monday night's games, the biggest game of the night, well, actually 2 big games, actually, technically. Boston and New York, that's going to be crazy. If the Knicks go up, which they should 3-1, it's over for Boston. But if Boston now ties the series 2-2, I think it will be advantage Boston. This game, to me, my opinion, will decide the series. You're going to be tied 2-2. You're taking all the momentum away from the Knicks. They won the first 2 games in very good deciding factor. They were like really sound at the end of both game 1 and game 2. Yes, they lost game 1. You're not going to sweep Boston. It was ridiculous. People saying that the Knicks are going to sweep Boston. Wola. However, if Boston wins tonight, I feel like they win the series. If Knicks win tonight, then they'll be up 3-1 and it's over for Boston. And then my game, that's why I had to say yes, my game, because both my teams who I want to win in the West, the Timberwolves and Warriors, Minnesota leads 2-1. It sucks because Steph Curry will still be out, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's Monday, so he's not going to be back until maybe Wednesday or game 6. If Timberwolves win tonight, Warriors are done. You go up 3-1, it's almost impossible for you to come back. However, I feel like the coaching staff will make the appropriate changes and really have Jimmy Butler, Jimmy Buckets, playoff Jimmy, lead that offense. Calm Draymond Green down a little bit. Him getting fouled out last game was just messy. That's ridiculous. We need Draymond, especially if Curry's not in there. You get Draymond to start making some shots, hitting some threes because they always leaving him open. You get him to calm down and not get into foul trouble early or any foul trouble. No more technicals, no more fragrance. And you run that offense through Jimmy. You have him driving, get into the foul line. You could easily tie this up 2-2. Give a chance for Steph Curry to come back and win. Like I said, if Minnesota advances, cool, because I'm going for Ant-Man and the rest of them. I like Minnesota. That's my team in the West. I want them to beat OKC. If they don't, I'm still good with OKC, but it's OKC, Minnesota, and Warriors. But I'm going for Warriors because Stephen and Draymond, they don't have that much time left. So it's my team. We'll see what happens. Let me know what you guys think about the NBA playoffs in the comment section below. All right, y'all. That is a wrap. Day 1 on the Diddy trial is done. Wild first day. I still feel, even though the prosecution had that little hiccup with the jury and they just cut off the 4 black jurors, I still feel like day 1 is advantage. Prosecution, defense did a horrible job at opening statements. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Make sure you stay tuned every day for Diddy updates. And very important, we are not just doing Diddy news. I know a lot of content creators, a lot of YouTube channels are really focusing on that. Just know that we'll always continue to bring our regularly scheduled program. We'll tell you everything else that's going on, whether it be Lil Wayne, Jay, Trump, whatever. Of course, we're going to lead with Diddy because that's what everybody wants to know about. But just know that we are still doing our best to give you guys a full show and just not concentrating on Diddy. All right, we got y'all. Before I let you guys go, just want to remind you of all the ways to keep up with the Trent Out Loud podcast. For those of you who are on YouTube and used to watching on YouTube, if you're ever going on a flight or going in the car, you don't have access to the app or internet, have no fear, because we're available on all podcast platforms. You could download the episode and take us with you. Just go to any podcast site, type in Trent Out Loud, the show will pop up. Don't forget to hit the follow and subscribe button so that you can be notified every time we upload a new show. And just like YouTube, we upload daily. Now, vice versa, for those of you who are used to watching or listening to the show on podcast platforms, thank you so much for all your downloads and your support. However, shout out to Morgan. We want you guys to come over to YouTube, because that's where the Out Louders hang out the most. This comment section is lit. So come on over to YouTube and watch the show. It's just a better way to digest the show. The video out here is dope. I know there's video on Spotify, but like I said, comment section is where it's at, all right? Head on over to YouTube, type in Trent Out Loud, the show will pop up. A couple of things you're going to need to do. Make sure you hit that subscribe button that gives you your entrance into the Out Louder family. Make sure you hit that like button. We need the algorithming. Most important, please comment below. I do this podcast with you guys. Yes, it's here, me in front of the camera. However, if you guys don't, comment or join in on a conversation, I'm just here by myself, and that is boring. All right. This is a podcast between me and you. So try to comment below. If you don't feel comfortable commenting your opinion on any of the subjects, that's fine too. At least just say, hey, Trent, what's up? I'm commenting from here, or I'm watching from this place. I just like to see all the cities and different countries that are here and joining into our online community. All right. For those of you who want to follow me outside, I forgot. If you're really enjoying the show, please try to share the episode, because that helps in growing the podcast. We appreciate that. Helps in growing the channel. We appreciate that. For those of you who want to follow me outside of the podcast, I'm available on all social platforms, and it's always the same handle, Trent Out Loud. I'm the most active on Instagram. I post up your comments on my Instagram stories, so make sure you follow me there. We also started a new blog page on Instagram called Formally Out Loud, FORMALLY, and that's where we'll put up the extended videos of the videos that we put here during the show. If it maybe has swear words or cussing or copyright infringements that we cannot play on YouTube, we'll put the full extent there on that Instagram channel, Formally Out Loud, so you can follow us there if you'd like. All right, y'all, we got through Monday. I'll see you for Tuesday. Have a great rest of your day, or have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace. Oops, we got through Tuesday or Monday night. I don't even know what's going on, man. I'm so busy with all these Diddy stuff. Tuesday, we got through Tuesday or Monday night. Peace. I'll see you tomorrow for Hump Day Wednesday. Peace. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's your boy, Trent Out Loud. Peace.